little bit nervous today. I'm a little bit apprehensive of speaking out loud to myself right now because my grandmother has a guest downstairs, and although I don't worry about her in the house because she can't hear me very well, he is. So I'm a little bit self-conscious right now. So we'll see how this goes. I'm trying to fight the urge to whisper like this, but we'll try this out. Again, my name is Stephanie Phillips. This is my channel. My YouTube name is Stitchy Bliss. One thing I'd like to try and do is kind of find, I don't know, a channel name. I don't know if that's a thing, but I would like to try. First of all, I do want to thank my subscribers and for anyone who has watched my video and left any comments. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I also want to apologize for the somewhat late posting. My cats are visiting me right now. They're wondering what's going on. But I want to apologize for the somewhat late posting. My intention is to video on Friday and have it uploaded by Saturday evening. I still may meet that. I'm not positive yet. I still may meet that goal. But I did tape it yesterday, but it was at the end of the day. I had lost my lighting, which wasn't a huge issue, but I don't think my head wasn't really into it. My heart wasn't really all that into it last night. So I felt like I just really kind of rushed through it, and then I barely started trying to watch it, and I kind of quit, and I was like, this is no good. I want to redo this. So I'm actually taping this Saturday morning-ish, late morning. And hopefully this will be better. So, because this is the one I'm posting. And having said that, I do want to talk a little bit more about commitment and accountability. I'm a procrastinator. I get a lot of ideas in my head, a lot of projects I want to work on, and I never seem to follow through or make commitments, especially if the only person I'm accountable to is for myself. And that's one thing that I'm really trying to work hard on this year, is there are things that I want to do, and I want to commit myself to those things and actually stick to it and figure out ways to build in accountability, whether that's to myself or to other people or what have you. And that's partially, other than I would like to make some online friends, that is partially why I wanted to do the YouTube video, is because I feel like this is me kind of committing to the community. And I don't want to become a fair weather friend, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. I lost my train of thought. So, YouTube for me, I've kind of committed. I kind of think that my schedule is the best. I may end up tweaking it a little bit. But that's my commitment, and I feel like already that it has built some accountability into me. I could tell that in just 1 week, because all week long, and it wasn't a chore. It wasn't like, oh my God, I got to stitch something so that I have something to show. But it kind of motivated me. I mentioned that in the first video, that I was going to kind of do a bit of a rotation similar to Priscilla and Chelsea's. For the most part, I did stick to that rotation for this week, except for Thursday, I think. I didn't stitch it all on Thursday and Wednesday because I don't really have a Halloween or fall piece kitted up. So I just worked on my flamingo piece. But for the most part, I did stitch every day except for Thursday. So I'm proud of myself for that. I do want to get back into my Lizzie Kate, the 3 little words. That's supposed to be my Thursday stitch. And for some reason, the last 2 Thursdays, I have not stitched at all. And having said that, my rotation, it may change over time. This was just something to try and get me started. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. And so what I'm curious is, especially for floss tubers, because my first video was somewhat easy. It was like 40 minutes long, I think. But I had a lot to say because it was my first video. So I could tell you a little bit about myself and about my journey and this and that and the other. This video, I'm finding it a little bit more difficult. The first one I did, I just had a list of basically words or phrases, just touch points. And the video, I know once I edited it, I didn't edit it, but once I would have edited it, I might have had maybe 15 minutes. And I would like my videos to be a little bit longer than that. So my question for you guys is, how do you feel about commitment? Are you like me where you're a procrastinator, you have a hard time following through on things, especially if it's to yourself, and maybe some ways that you build an accountability with that? And also, if you are a YouTuber, I'm curious to know of your struggles with your first 1 or 2 or 3 videos and coming up with things to talk about. And with that, I want to show you, I feel like I'm a slow stitcher, but for me, I feel like I made a lot of progress this week. And a lot of that has to do with the commitment that I've made to my YouTube channel and to you guys, and the accountability that kind of built into it. So I'm gonna show you my whips here in just a second. Thanks. Okay, I paused a little bit there. So the first one, which I'm kind of considering this to be my focus piece. I know I had mentioned in the first video, or maybe I didn't. I'm going on a cruise in July, and I considered putting this aside to take on that July cruise, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm still kind of considering this my focus piece. And this is the You Had Me at Flamingo by Hands On Design. And I think when I left off last, I was maybe, I can't remember now, right around here, I think. I've gotten a little bit further, not a huge amount, but I have gotten further. I finished this bottom border, and I'm thinking from here over, I got all of these guys in. I still just have this one last flamingo and then all of their beaks and heads and stuff. And then I'll start focusing more on the motifs here and then the top band. And then I will be done with that. So, I mean, that sounds easier said than done for me. I started working on this last summer, so it took me that long to get this far. But hopefully I'll get more done soon. So there's that. And the next one, I'm gonna have to get these out, that I want to talk about is my Christmas piece. I think I showed this the last time. It's the Jardin Privé, I'm not sure how to say that, patchwork hiver. And it's just that I'm not loving this. I don't hate it. I do want to finish it, but I'm finding I'm not enjoying stitching on this as much as on my other pieces. And I think one reason I bought this was like, I think the very first piece that I ever kitted up, and that's been 2+ years ago. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. One thing that might have something to do with it is it seems so flat to me. And that's because, although I have not been working with over-dyed threads for very long, this is the first piece I think that I've used over-dyed threads on, and I've only been working on that since this past summer. I've gotten used to the look of over-dyed threads. So I don't know if it just looks kind of flat, but I'll let you guys see it. I did make a little bit of progress on it, and I will keep working on it because it's the only Christmas piece I have started right now. It goes, I believe, this way. So what I started, I think all I got done the other day on this, I worked on this last Sunday. I got the little acorn done there, and then the base of the Christmas tree. This will be a Christmas tree here, and then I think this top little border line right there is all I got done. So I will still plug away at this, like I said, and it might be the fabric. It's a linen. Although I don't know where my sticker is. Mocha Belfast, light Mocha Belfast, 32 count. But it just feels rough. I mean, it's okay. It's just not my favorite. So I will keep plugging away at that. And I just, so, because I keep forgetting to do it, even though I've got notes, I keep forgetting to do it per project. I generally have been doing the called fors. I think the only one I haven't done the called for on was the Lizzie Kate. The Lizzie Kate, and I'm not going to talk about that this week because I didn't even touch it this week. I'll talk about that next week. But generally I do all the called fors. I'm not brave enough. Well, partly I choose, a lot of the reason why I choose patterns is because I like the colors. So I don't really feel as much of a need to try and play with the colors or to switch the colors out, because that's partly what I'm drawn to, and partly it's because I just don't know what I'm doing and I don't have an LNS to where I can go look at threads very easily. So most of what I do is online, so it's just easier to do the called throughs. But back to this real quick. Again, this is linen. That's the color, is linen. I think it's just a Zweigert, I'm not sure. 32 count. And again, I use all the called fors. Also on this piece, the only variation that I did, and it was kind of an accidental thing, and then I just went with it because it was really kind of easier to do it this way, and I didn't feel like taking anything out, was the little, I don't know if you can see it, in that white area where you see the black beak and then the white, and then there's a little black line that kind of comes into it. That's kind of like the break in the beak, like his mouth, kind of. That is supposed to be one thread, I think. And at first, I think I accidentally did it with 2 threads, and then I just kept doing it because I didn't think it looked that bad, and honestly, it was easier than switching to 1 thread and doing it. So I just kept that. But that's the only alteration, and it was kind of an accidental alteration that I made on that one. Okay, so that is my flamingo and my Christmas piece. Now, the one I am most excited about, which I hope is up here, is I started one of my beetle pieces. I started Yellow Submarine. And it's really been hard. Whoops, I'm caught in my zipper. It's really been hard to put this one down. But I did, because I had other things to stitch on. So this is Yellow Submarine by Blackbird Designs. It's the 5th in the Magical Tour series. I have all of them except for one, I think the last one. And I've started on the boat. I'm more of a center starter. So, and I don't measure the exact center. Sometimes I get off, but I try and at least eyeball it to where I'm kind of starting more in the center of the pattern and then in this, as centered on the fabric as I can get it. So this is done on 32 count cedar plank by Lakeside Linens. And I've obviously, like I said before, I used all of the called fors. I think. Yeah. I think I'm just using all the called fors. And I'm excited to show this because I feel like for me, this is a lot of progress. I mean, granted, this is 3 days worth of progress, so I don't know. But this is how much I got done, and I am loving it. I love how the colors pop. This fabric, I don't know how well you can see this, but it's kind of a bluish gray, kind of a grungy kind of a look, but I just love it. And I think the color choices are kind of grungy too. Even they're bright, but they've got a little bit of grunge to them, which I love. And so I'm really enjoying this. Now, this one, I did make a mistake. I am not afraid to frog. I hate frogging. I'm not afraid to do it though, especially because I'm trying to get better. So sometimes I will frog. This one I did not. Partly because the mistake, well, I had one tiny minor mistake up in here. Like somehow I got like half a stitch off and I ended up with too many stitches, and I was able to just fix it over the next one, the next row. But for some reason down here, I added a stitch in the white part, and I carried it down like several rows, and I didn't notice it until I got to this window here. I had already done all of this, and I didn't notice it till I got to that. I'm not frogging it at all. I think it'll be okay because it is sort of a sampler style. I'm just going to go with it out here. I might have to, there are a couple of little motifs. Where did I put my thing? Oh, it fell. Hold on. There are a couple of little motifs off to the side here that I might have to move over maybe like a stitch, but I think that'll be okay. So, but I didn't want, I was afraid if I tried to make up for it, it would just kind of make the front end look funny. So I think I'm just going to try and go with it and not do it, not change it at all. So there's that. And I think that's all I have to say about that one. I'm loving this piece. Loving it. Like, it's hard. I love my flamingo piece, but it's been really hard to go from this to my flamingo piece. Because I love it that much. Okay. And that is all of my whips. Sorry, I've got my notes down here. That is all of my whips that I worked on this week. For me, that's kind of a lot. I worked on the submarine. I started it last Saturday. I worked on it then also Monday and Tuesday. The flamingo I worked on Wednesday, and then I did work on it some last night. So if I had uploaded the video that I had done yesterday, you wouldn't be seeing all that work, because I did work on that last night. The Christmas one, I just worked on that a little bit on Sunday, and then I didn't work on my Lizzie Kate at all. So, hold on while I turn my page, please. Okay, I keep going back to my flamingo piece, but I want to go back to it one more time, because I want to talk about hand stitching and Q-snaps. Now for this piece, if you watched my video from last week, you'll see I had it on a Q-snap. Not this piece, this is my Christmas piece. Hold on. This piece, I had it on a Q-snap. My Q-snap is not the brand Q-snap. My Q-snap is basically, I guess, a knockoff from Michael's, maybe? But they've been working just fine for me. I love them. I used to try and stitch on a hoop, and I didn't really like that. I'm loving my Q-snaps. I see no problem with it. I really didn't see the urge to get a branded Q-snap. Having said that, I've never put it over top of my stitches. I think that's one reason why I haven't really been working on my Lizzie Kate, is I've got it on that really big, like 11 by 8, I think, Q-snap, and I'm getting to the point where I need to move it, and I'm afraid to move it. Because I'm afraid I don't know what it's going to do with the stitches. Because even this, I mean, this is a linen. It's a soft, well, not really soft, but it's like a drapier kind of material. Looser, I guess. And even this, like, because these little things here, these things that go on your Q-snap, like, they're really tight. So I can't even, like, peel them off. I kind of have to slide them across, and I've noticed it was kind of messing with the fabric a little bit. It didn't bother me too much because it was outside of the edges that I needed, but now I'm kind of getting close to those edges. And so what I ended up doing is I started hand stitching this, which I am not a hand stitcher at all, but from, I'd say pretty much most of all of my progress this time was hand stitch. And I think it turned out pretty good. It was fairly comfortable. I really didn't mind it. I don't know. The only thing is I noticed my excess material weigh a lot more than I would on a Q-snap. Something about it kind of kept it out of the way better. But I don't mind it. I don't know if it's something I'd want to do long term. But my basic question is, that's kind of how I'm solving my problem for this piece. I haven't tried hand stitching on my Lizzie Kate. But how do you guys keep your stitching protected when it's on a hoop or a Q-snap and you're getting to that point where you need to put this over top of your stitching? I do see, like on Pam and Steph's videos, Just Keep Stitching, they used to, I think, use fabric, but now it looks like they're using what looks like that sticky, not sticky, but the shelf liner that's kind of rubbery. It looks like they're using a strip of that underneath of it. I don't know if that's to create a tighter fit or if that is to protect the stitching. I don't know if the branded Q-snaps are easier to get these things off than mine, or if there's a trick. So if you would be so kind and post below how you guys do that, or prevent from messing up your fabric or your stitches when it's on a hoop, or mainly a Q-snap, because I don't really use hoops anymore, but mainly the Q-snaps, and how you feel about hand stitching over this. So that, I wanted to talk about that a little bit, so thank you for in advance. Now the light that I showed the last time, I think is in here. This light that I showed on the last video, I don't think I had used it yet. I think I had just gotten it. I don't think I'd even used it yet. I have been using this. I really like it a lot. I've noticed I prefer to stitch in nice daylight, but this has been a lifesaver. The only bad thing, and I don't think it's anything that can really be avoided, is I do know it can throw shadows that are sometimes annoying, but I'm kind of getting used to it. Also, I dropped this last night and I was so afraid I broke it because I literally just bought it. Other than like this piece came off and the batteries flew out, it's good. Like it still works. So I'm really loving this. Another thing is that I bought a snag nabbit. I've heard Steph talk about this on their videos a lot. When I first started, my stitching was atrocious. My back had just strings going everywhere. I am getting better at that. I don't know if it's perfect, but this is what my back looks like. I think it looks pretty good. At least for me. I mean, I had strings all over the place. So, and when I first started, and I don't have it here, and I'm not going to go look for it. Maybe I'll show it in the next video. I don't want to put you guys on pause and do that with you. My hair got all messed up. But I used to use, I guess it's called a laying tool. And it's basically kind of like a ring that has like sort of a big, fat-ish kind of needle hooked to the top of it. It kind of, you know, like maybe a tapestry needle size or an upholstery needle kind of a size. And it just helped. I got really good at doing it. It didn't slow me down at all. I liked how it helped my stitches. I've gotten away from using that, partly because I've just improved naturally. I do railroad. But sometimes my stitches, it seems like no matter what I do, they still kind of get a little bit hinky. And I know, like I said, Steph talks a whole lot about she uses a snag nabbit all the time. So I did buy one. I keep forgetting. I've had it for several days and I keep forgetting to use it. I'm not sure exactly how to do it. So, but I did get that. That's my only haul for the week. New starts. So I'm gonna have a mess here to clean up. I'm getting all disorganized. Okay, so new starts. Today is my new start day. I may cancel the new start portion just partly because I don't have a huge amount that I have kitted up to go. And I don't want to go out and spend a whole bunch of money just to kit it up. So, but for now I do have a couple. So what I was going to start today is, I spent 4 months in London in 2015. I studied abroad in London through the university I was going through. So I wanted a piece to kind of commemorate that, even though I'm several years past it. But I loved London, loved it. If I could move anywhere, I would move to London. So it is, let's see if I don't need to take it out of that. It is an afternoon in London by Country Cottage Needlework. Let's see, I don't think it's too glary. So, and I do everything on the called for. So I think I bought all the threads for it. And I am doing it on water lily linen. I don't know if it's just a Zweigert. Like, I don't know. I think it's just a Zweigert, but it's water lily. And it's a pretty kind of sagey green. Oops. So I will be starting that today. So hopefully, I think I'm going to start this today. I'm planning on starting this today. So hopefully next week, I'll show some progress on that. And other than that, that's about all I have to, I hate when I do that. I get this lump back here. Other than that, that's about all I have going for you this week. Next week, we're going to be pretty busy, but I'm still hoping that I'll have some progress to show and that I can keep up with my commitment to tape on Friday and get this up by Saturday evening. My grandmother has cataract surgery on Monday, so the next few days I'll be preparing for that. There's a whole bunch of stuff you have to do before the surgery. So I'll be keeping up with that. And then I get to meet with the accountant. I've always done my taxes on TurboTax because I really didn't have a whole lot to deal with. But now that my employment is not traditional, but yet I'm getting paid a pretty decent amount to do this. So I'm meeting with my father's accountant just to make sure that I'm doing everything the right way. So that's what I will be focusing on this week. Again, if you like this video, I appreciate it. Don't forget to comment about, your struggles with commitment, reading my notes, and stitching in hand and branded Q-snaps versus the Michaels Q-snaps. I don't have anything to compare it to, so I'd love to know your guys' opinions or how you handle protecting your stitches when it's on a Q-snap. And that is all I have for you today. So I hope everybody has a great week. I started, before I did this, I started watching Kitten Stitcher's later video. I thought it was funny because it's called her Quickie Stitch number 3. But then I looked at it after I watched it, and it was like 45 minutes long. So it's going to be longer than this one probably. I don't even know how long I'm at right now. I'm probably at about, well, my thing says 21 minutes, so maybe 25 to 30 minutes, which is okay. I'm happier with that than the 15 I had the other day. So anyhow, I hope everybody has a great week, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.